Excuse me. Got quite a hack here on a Monday morning. How is everybody? Monday morning live, Burko. Yeah, I seem like I've been saying that a lot lately. Can you see in the background? We've got some snow happening here. Wednesday, supposed to get some more. It's been like in the 20s all weekend, and I'm sitting in Mr. Ugly. Did I mention Mr. Ugly does not have heat? I thought about running an extension cord out here, and putting a little space heater in here, but I'm not sure. That could be dangerous because Mr. Ugly probably also has a gas leak. So we're not going to do that. Did you notice anything in the background? Yeah, they're in. The world famous Monday Morning Live mug. My son drew that silly picture of me, and I thought to myself, I can do something with that. On the back side, we're advertising Sunny Day Devos, which is kind of like a cousin to Monday Morning Live. Sunny Day Devos, yeah. There you go, guys. No, you do not get any of my wife's famous tea. I probably ought to do that. If I were to let you sample her tea, then I'd get more funnies. We got a funny shortage. You guys have got to get on the ball. You can send me your funnies. I need some more funnies. And by the way, you're welcome to send those meme things, but they're hard for me to show on the screen. So I'm not discounting them. I will definitely think about it. But today, the funny's just a funny. It doesn't even have a picture with it. In fact, let's get started. I'm going to do two of them that come from two of my greatest contributors, Buddy and Shiloh. I don't know if they're just silly people or what, but they really are excellent at sending nonsense. And I love nonsense. Here's Buddy's, and I had to tweak it a little, Buddy, because, I'm trying to make it spiritual, that kind of thing, but you can tweak almost anything. Here it is, my remake of your funny. A little orange was laying on or lying. I never can get that right, laying or lying. Cindy, you'll have to tell me later. Anyhow, a little orange was laying on the ground, depressed and very discouraged. God came down and asked the little orange what was wrong. And this is what the little orange said. Well, my first job was at an orange juice factory, but I got canned. I couldn't concentrate. That's so good, buddy. That's really, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. And then, of course, down south, Shiloh, who's just getting back from Texas, they were at Winterfest over the weekend. I guess they had a good time. Seems like they did with their posts. This is from Shiloh. She sent it to me several weeks ago. Sunday school teacher explaining the commandment about honoring mother and father. After she's done with a lengthy description, she says, can anybody tell me, does God ever say anything about how to treat your brothers and sisters? Little Johnny raised his hand. He said, yeah, thou shalt not kill. Never had a brother, but oh man, I pestered my little sister so much. It's a wonder that I'm alive today. That's the truth. But here's the winner. The winner comes from my son. Yes, the little one, who's not little. He's taller than I am. But the youngest one of the family, who we're going to read a story about today. Here's his joke, and I thought it was excellent. As the little sister exited the building. Let me read that again. It wasn't a sister at all. That doesn't have anything to do with the joke. Scrap the sister thing. See, I can't even tell jokes. As the little girl. She might have been a sister, but the joke doesn't say. As the little girl exited the church building, the preacher asked what she thought about the church service. All the singing was nice, she said, but that commercial was way too long. The commercial. The sermon is the commercial, and it was way too long. I've never had anybody say that about my sermons. That's not true. That's not true. Okay, guys, here we are. Monday Morning Live, freezing our tush off in Mr. Ugly. But it's good to be together, is it not? It's good to be together. All right, so today, our Make It Real challenge is to make a faith fashion statement. A faith fashion statement. And that's what the story's about. Oh, yeah, before I do that, let's advertise our mug again. Okay, Gabriel, you're in the running for the mug. Okay, and Buddy, you're in the running for the mug. And Shiloh, because you three, how many is that? Three. You three have participated in getting me a funny. Now, folks, it's not that hard. All you got to do is send something funny. If it makes me giggle, you're likely to get it on the air here. And then, maybe you can win a world famous mug that's got the comic Sonny Childs on it. I mean, who doesn't want to have one of those? Anyhow, there you go. I'm going to put it right here on the seat, and I'll probably spill it right down my backside. But see, this is an advertising moment. Okay, yeah. Now, here's your story. This one's actually entitled The Gabriel Principle, and it's about fashion, which is not very fashionable. This is my first Monday with you because, hi, Deborah, it's good to see you. Thank you for being here. They're off because it's MLK Day, Martin Luther King Day. And so we're off because it's snow too, but anyhow, glad to have you and everybody else who's out there. This is called The Gabriel Principle. Gabriel, age 3, let's see, this was written back in 2006, has discovered the joys of dressing himself. He started with his pull-ups, progressed to socks and shoes, and now he can dress himself in almost any outfit that he wants. Scary yet comical thought, yes. He loves to wear his mother's shoes and has even been known to walk out of the bedroom in one of her, let's say unspeakables. We better not take that picture out of your mind. Several weeks ago, Cindy noticed about halfway through the day that he had his Bob the Builder underwear on backwards. He was not pleased when she pointed this out to him. You see, to Gabriel, the joy of choosing his own briefs and putting them on in his own fashion far outweigh any discomfort that came from the incorrect installation of the underwear. Recently, I headed Gabriel out of the bathroom and told him that if he found an outfit quickly, that he could go to town with me. There was definite excitement in his steps as I watched his miniature legs race across the room to the bedroom. 2 of his most favorite things were coming together in one wonderful event. 1, going to town with Dad, and 2, dressing himself. Could it get any better than that? Moments later, Gabriel met me at the top of the stairs in his boots, jeans, and cowboy hat. He did have his shirt on correctly, and his pants would have been fine if one leg hadn't been shoved halfway down the top of his boot and the other pulled out around the outside. Why do kids do that? Anyhow, as I corrected this redneck fashion statement, my deeper investigation revealed an entire lack of socks. Did you ever wear cowboy boots without socks? Not comfortable. But remember the Gabriel Principle. The joy of choosing your own outfit far outweighs the discomfort that comes from incorrect installation. I stepped back and I took a long look at him. It was the boots and the hat that drew my attention. As you may have already guessed, his boots were pointing in opposite directions. How he ever stayed upright on his journey from the bedroom to the stairs was beyond me. And then there was the hat. You see, it was his favorite hat. Months ago, it was a cheaply made dollar store cowboy hat. Today, it's a severely abused piece of felt with a ragged string hanging from the sides. It looks more like a badly mashed waffle than it does a hat. Do I really want to take him to town looking like that, I thought to myself. On the other hand, do I really want to upset the delicate balance of peace within the home over boots that point east and west and a hat that no longer has a definable shape? I had a real dilemma on my hands. It was then that I remembered the Gabriel Principle. Sadly, some things have to be learned by experience. I hated to do it, and I knew his mother would never approve, but off to town we went. Yes, people pointed, and a few folks even snickered. As we walked up to the post office, they did. Yes, Gabriel struggled to walk down the sidewalk in his mismatched boots on his sockless feet. His hat blew off several times, and by the end of the trip, one of his pant legs was stuffed back into the top of his boot. The whole event was an exercise in discomfort and inconvenience. But then I had to ask, is he any different than I am? Life lesson. So often I too hear the Father tell me what to wear, but then I selfishly satisfy my own fashion desires. I open his manual and I read his fashion statements every day. I hear him warn me about uncomfortable apparel and mismatched spiritual clothing. I feel him inspect me with his eyes, and I know when he is shaking his head at my refusal to change. Gabriel and I are so much alike. In fact, I'm the one who taught him the Gabriel Principle. May God be merciful to me when I act like a spiritual 3-year-old. May he be patient with me when I persist in ways of discomfort. May he give me enough time to grow into an understanding that he always knows best and his ways always fit. May God help all of us to outgrow the Gabriel Principle. So there you go. Make a faith fashion statement. You know, Romans chapter 12, verses 1 and 2 says that when you became a Christian, you made an agreement that you would daily sacrifice your own desires and make sure that God and his will came first. Are you still doing that? It even counts with clothing. It counts with the words that come out your face. It counts with the jokes that you tell, the interaction that you have with your coworkers, etc. Are you still sacrificing you so that God can come first? Let's deal with the clothing thing, since that's kind of the topic of the morning. So dealing with this whole make a faith fashion statement. Here is your passage. I love this one. Ecclesiastes 31:25. She is clothed with strength and dignity. She can laugh at days to come. The reason that's so important, obviously, because it's dealing with the virtuous woman, and it's dealing spiritually, and it's talking about her inner character and all of those kind of things. But it's also important because just previous to that, she's been talking about how she takes care of her children and she clothes them. And so there's both a physical, literal side to this, and there's a spiritual, which is also literal, but it's a different side of our. And she's covering both of those. She's clothed with strength. She's clothed with dignity. Some of that is literally, what do you put on? You know, how do you look right now? Ladies, are you modestly covered? Men, are you modestly covered? Let me give you some suggestions on how that we can clothe ourselves effectively and do this whole faith fashion statement. Number one, you need to ask yourself these three questions. Number one, is it spiritually uncomfortable? There are some fashion things going on right now. You know, the one with the guys have their pants halfway down their hips and you know, all that kind of stuff. And you just got to wonder to yourself, you know it's not comfortable. I've actually played basketball with some really good basketball players who I just whooped up on in a bad way because they wouldn't pull the pants up. In other words, they were playing basketball with one hand. You know, is it spiritually comfortable? That's just one example, but you know, you had to ask yourself, when you look in the mirror, do you have that tinge of, oh, maybe I shouldn't, you know, but I want to, because people will look and I'll get attention. Number one, is it spiritually comfortable? Number two, does it draw attention to me, or does it draw attention to God? Remember that promise, Romans chapter 12, verses 1 and 2. It's one of the reasons that I really struggle with some of the self-mutilation, body marking things that are going on today. I think we got to really be careful, because so often, and it's certainly not always, I've got some very good friends who can make the counterpoint to this, but a lot of times the purpose of this is to draw attention to me, not draw attention to God. And whatever it is that you're wearing, whatever it is that you're doing, your conduct, etc., it always should be about making God look good and people wanting to invest further into what God has to say about things. Number three, is your wardrobe mismatched? You know, it's kind of like Gabriel when he was 3 years old, and things just didn't go together. You know, and I think sometimes we do that. You know, I've got the I Love Jesus shirt on, and yet I'm cussing and speaking dirty jokes at the water cooler. You know, it's mismatched. You know, don't put the symbol of Christianity on your bumper as you drive down the road if you're going to drive 30 miles over the speed limit. We need to be people who, you know, our value system needs to match up. All right, so here we are. Make it real. Make a fashion statement. Don't be like Gabriel. Break the Gabriel Principle. What is the next? Oh, yeah, prayer list. Very important part of our time together, prayer list. Here you go. Number one, thanks for my office. I want to thank a lot of you folks out there, because many of you are my contributors and you keep me going. And I'm so very, very grateful. I'm looking that direction right now. That's my office sitting right there. And I know I promised you this week I was going to try to take you on a tour, but it just didn't happen. Snow came. It's messy outside, and I wanted to show you from the outside to the inside. We're not going to do it this week. I may actually make a recording and then just post it, but I'll let you know if I do that. But anyhow, I want to say thanks to we learned this week that in some of my live broadcasts, we actually have folks tuning in from the Philippines, and I guess even from the Ukraine. How about that? Let's see. Cheryl says it was -5 during the night. You got to be kidding. Good land. Huh? Well, that's cold. Anyhow, thanks for my office. And so let's be thanking God for that. Continue to remember Iliad, as we've said. They've taken him off treatments, and his family is really struggling right now, and he's not probably long to be with us. And let's pray for the mom and the dad, and for Iliad as well. Tina and Linda, really good news about Tina. As I mentioned yesterday on Lord's Day Live, Tina had surgery. The doctors say they got it all, so we're so very, very thankful. Linda also reported on Lord's Day Live yesterday, said that she's got, I think, 11 more weeks of chemo coming, so keep her in your prayers. Love these two very, very much. Brenda, a good friend of mine down south in Louisiana, has a brain situation. I think it's pressure on the brain, and it's life-threatening, and she had surgery, I think. And I haven't really had an update on this, but we need to keep Brenda in our prayers that God will bless there. And then the two Denises, one from Louisiana who asked us to pray for her grandchildren, and the other is Denise, who is... Denise Vaught, I'm just going to say it. I tried to only use first names, but I don't know. Denise, I hope you're okay with that. Denise has got a leg issue, and it's really hurting her. And when it hurts her, it hurts me. And Denise is the wife of the buddy who sends me all the funny stuff. And so keep her in your prayers, because Denise cooks for us at MAP. And we love her a lot, a lot, a lot. Okay, there you go. So, who wants a mug? Can I mug you? Say you can get a mug. Hey, so there you go. How do we know Moses had a headache? Oh, I lost it. Buddy was sending me a joke and it went away. Maybe I can use it next week. There you go. You guys, you need to get a mug. I wish I could send you some of Cindy's tea, because if you had the tea and the mug, you'd be like in virtual salivating heaven. Those two things don't really go together. Salivating in heaven, I don't know. Good stuff. Well, I'm done, and I'm cold, and I'm going in. Oh, guess where I'm going now? Mom's house. Yes, it has become a tradition, and I'm so excited. Gabriel and I pack up right after Monday Morning Live, head to Mom's house. Eggs, potatoes. I told you this morning we're going to have pancakes. Wish you could be with me. But since you can't, I'll eat extra for you. Okay, guys, don't forget, we've already started back our semester on Wednesdays with the, School of Biblical Studies, studying the book of Hebrews, and had a lot of folks visit with us last Wednesday at 5, live at 5. So join us. Okay, there's Heather. Ethan has a cardiology appointment at Le Bonheur on Thursday. Okay, Heather, good person. She attends our congregation. Love her very, very much. And her son has got an appointment at Le Bonheur on Thursday. So we're going to add, I don't know where my list is, but we're going to add my little buddy Ethan on our list. Okay, so remember Ethan, please. All right, better shut this thing down. I love you guys. So thankful that you put up with me and all my hacking and the funnies and stuff. Hope it's a good week for you. Be there, Matthew 16:26.